again for joining me. All right.
So we're going to come to our mats or our comfortable place and find yourself in a comfortable position that makes your body feel a little more alert, not exactly melting yet into our seats, but kind of rising up out of our seat. Just a place where you're comfortable. And once you're settled here, you can begin to deepen your breath. And even maybe close your eyes, or perhaps you just lower your gaze to start. Just take the next couple cycles of breath to see if you can elongate your inhales and your exhales a bit. Not to the point where it's a struggle, but just seeing if you can deepen your breath a little more for a couple of cycles. Perhaps you feel that breath dropping past that chest area and actually dropping into your belly, that diaphragmatic breathing. Maybe you can direct the breath into that belly area, which gives a little more expansion, a little more depth, and then release it from that belly area. You may even want to bring one hand to your heart, another hand to your belly, just to really feel in your body where the breath is going. And also, this gesture is a pretty loving gesture to give ourselves. And begin to take your inhales through your nose and out through gently parted lips. You might notice your breathing has a sound quality to it. Maybe it's taking on the qualities of the ocean, that rhythmic flow, that rhythmic sound that we all know so well in our minds. Just in a moment of silence, continue to breathe in a way that feels deep and nourishing to you. Excellent. With your eyes still closed, we're going to reach our hands out either side as if you're being pulled by your hands on either side. And then just bring your arms in front of you and begin to enclose them around your body, giving yourself a hug. Your hands reaching towards the opposite shoulder blades. Drop your chin towards your chest and give yourself this embrace. Stretching the back, neck area, but also giving yourself some loving touch from your hands here. And breathe. Excellent. You can unwind your hands. And whenever you're ready, you can begin to flicker your eyes open. Wonderful. Ooh. I feel like I already have like sleep eyes as if I like passed out. Excellent. So we're going to inhale, shoulders come up to your ears. And exhale, mindfully move them down your spine. Inhale, they come up, making a little circuit. Exhale, release them down. One final cycle in your own breath. My voice is just a guide. Inhale up and exhale down. Wonderful. Pressing our left fingertips into the ground, reaching our right arm up. We're going to drop that elbow. Actually, let's first reach towards our ear and give ourselves an opposite stretch. So you're stretching your right ear towards the right side, gently guiding your ear towards that right. Left fingers pressing into the earth. And carefully release hand, then neck. Inhale, other side. Left hand rises. Find your length. And then let it reach towards your left ear, gently guiding your right ear. Gently guiding your left ear towards your left shoulder. Right fingertips pressing into the earth for a little more a sensation in that neck and shoulder area. Take a breath. Exhale, release hands and then neck. Next inhale, lifting that right arm strong and tall. We're going to bend our elbow behind our head. If you practice with a strap, you can hold on to the strap here. Otherwise, we're just going to reach our other hand behind. I'm going to spin around. And maybe you're somewhere here. Maybe you can wiggle your hands to meet. Wherever you find a place where you're pressing your hands towards each other, however, you haven't compromised your heart. Take a deep breath and reopen that spine. Maybe your hands separate a little more. That's okay. It's not about the hands touching. It's about expansiveness, creating length in our shoulders and our heart. One more inhale to get long as you can. Exhale, release your arms. You can give them a little shake, kind of like a wave, and reverse. Inhale, left arm comes long, drops behind your head. Right hand will reach towards your hand if you're holding a sock or a towel, if you're doing this at home. Well, we're all doing it at home, but if you are ever practicing on your own, it used to just be called home practice. You can hold on to a sock or a towel, or begin to walk your fingers up towards each other. Inhale, open your heart. And exhale, carefully release. Very nice. We're gonna slowly make our way onto hands and knees. No rush. For some of us, this is our first inversion of the day where we're not upright. Excellent. We're gonna move through a couple rounds of cat and cow just to warm up our spine. Inhale, tailbone lifts, belly drops, gaze lifts, pressing with your hands. On your exhale, feel the air traveling down your spine as you round through your back, doming. Your nose is the last thing to drop. Let that inhale come through your spine, arching your back, tailbone lifts, belly drops, gaze lifts. And mindfully and slowly move through our cat pose. Now I'm going to invite you to go through a couple rounds in your own breath, encouraging your breath to move as slowly as your body is willing to go. And see if you can't be more aware of all of the little parts of us that are moving to make these positions possible. Excellent. If you'd like to bring in additional movements while still being in this basic hands and knees position, feel free to make circles or little figure eights with your body. If you'd like to tuck your toes, send your hips back just for the gentlest of toe stretches. Feel free. I am cracking all over the place. There's like cracks that you could probably hear, and then there's the cracks that only I can hear that are like a little disturbing. And untuck your toes. Final wrist stretch. You can turn your fingers out to the sides and begin to bring circles into your body, or you can continue those circles but have your fingers reaching towards your knees. That's maybe a little bit more of an intense version. Some of us have very bendy wrist areas, some of us not as much. Keeping your movements small and slow. Especially not all of us have a lot of wrist practice in our day. Just bringing some awareness to the wrists, bringing some gentle movements so they're not angry later. Wonderful. Unwind those wrists. You can sit back on those toes. Just give them a little shake, your wrists a little shake as we get ready for some standing positions. Wonderful. So first, we're going to warm up our shoulders. Untuck those toes. You're going to inhale your right arm up to the sky. Exhale, thread that needle. You're going to put it underneath your left elbow. Rest your right ear on the mat. You can lift your left hand if you like. You can drop it behind your back if you like. Or you can just keep it on the floor, wherever feels good. Take a couple breaths. And then on your next inhale, plant your left hand on the floor. Extend your right hand back up. And exhale, release it to the ground. Same thing, left hand. Inhale that left hand up to the sky. Exhale, thread it through deliberately, being very aware of your movements. Relax that left ear on the ground. Inhale, right hand can come up. You can stay on the floor. You can bring it into a little half bind here where you're reaching towards that left thigh. As you breathe, notice if you're holding tension in your neck. See if you can relax those neck muscles and still keep the pose. You don't need to be supported just on those neck muscles. Next, inhale wherever your right hand is. Place it back down. Exhale, coming back up. Inhale, left hand unwinds, reach toward the sky, and come back down. Very nice. Take a breath. In fact, let's move into our first child's pose. You can open your knees if that gives you more support, sending those hips back and just kind of crawling those hands forward. Even in a passive stretch like this, we're still getting length. You can rock your forehead side to side. You can let your hips move a little. Just some gentle, dynamic movement. Just telling your body in all the small, kind of subtle areas, time to wake up. Excellent. Come on back down, up to hands and knees whenever you're ready. Knees underneath your hips, hands underneath your shoulders, just to prepare. We're gonna step our hands forward, about one handprint. Tuck your toes, and leading with the hips, you're gonna send those hips up in the air. First downward dog of the practice. You can walk the dog out. I have no idea why this is called walking the dog. Nothing about this looks like how I look when I walk the dog. Good. You can bring any movements. Your knees can be bent. Your heels can be in the air. Just take a look at your hands. Have your knuckles risen off the ground, and can you root them back in? Your wrists will thank you later for that. Take a deep inhale through your nose. And side out, release all the breath with some energy. Inhale deeply. And side out. One final inhale. And sigh it out. Look between your hands. Begin to walk your feet towards your hands, keeping a nice bend in your knees. And reach for opposite elbows and begin to just rock side to side. You can make a little arc. Nod your head yes, shake your head no. So really let that neck relax. Very nice. And bend your knees enough so you might be able to even gently touch the floor. Inhale, bend knees. Arms come out to the side. Energize as we rise. Tall, tall, tall. Hands come together above our heads and bring them down to our heart center. I'll face you. And begin to release those hands by your side. Energize through your fingers. Tadasana mountain pose. Inhale here. And on your exhale, maybe close your eyes. Inhale, lift your toes off the ground and feel where your feet are balancing. Try to put equal weight between your big toe mound, your pinky toe mound, and your heel. And then spread those toes and drape them on the floor for maximum stability. Feel that energy rise up your lower legs, your calf muscles. Energy rises past your knees, activates your quads and your thighs. Moves up your torso, opening your heart at the top. Take a deep, strong breath. And release. Very nice. You can flicker your eyes open. Move through our flow. So deep breath. Reaching your arms out and up. Get tall. Hands meet at the top. You're going to swan dive forward. I'm going to face the front of my mat. Good. Inhale. Halfway lift. Hands to shins or to thighs. Energize from the crown of your head down through the tailbone, getting long. Take a moment here. We get even longer in that upper body. On your next exhale, release back down to the floor. Inhale, halfway lift again. Exhale, release, forward fold. Inhale, last halfway lift in this sequence. Exhale, forward fold. Excellent. You're going to plant your hands in front of you, step your right foot back. Step your left foot back, high plank. Let's drop our knees into low plank just to reset. You really want to feel your belly button as it's moving towards your spine. So no matter if your knees are up or down, you have that activation in your lower belly. You're pushing against the floor with strong arms. You're going to shift slightly forward. Elbows stay tucked, trying to lower yourself as flat as you can in one piece. Untuck those toes. Hands pull back just a smidge. Elbows tuck in. Baby cobra. Inhale. And exhale, release. Inhale, moving back to your tabletop. Flow right into that downward facing dog. Take a deep breath on the top. Sigh it out. Inhale. Release. Inhale. Let the breath go. Gaze forward. Step or jump your feet towards your hands. Bend your knees. Reach those hands out and up. Tall, tall, tall. Feel the Tadasana rooting through your feet. Hands come together. And right away, hands come past your heart. Forward fold. Once my shirt wants to fold all the way off. Forward fold. Fingertips may lightly touch the ground with some bent knees. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, plant those hands. Step your right foot back, your left foot back. Excellent, high plank. Take a breath here. Release and hold. One more inhale. Hold on your exhale. Very nice. Inhale. And exhale, send those hips back up into space, downward facing dog. Downward dog from plank is helpful for our alignment. Wherever your hands are under your shoulders in your plank is about where you want your hands without moving them in your downward facing dog. Wonderful. Inhale. Going to lift your right foot just parallel with your hips. And you're going to bend that knee towards your nose, arching through that spine. You can even get a little momentum. You're going to step that foot in between your hands. You might take several steps. High lunge. You can rise up on your fingertips if you have blocks. Take a breath here. Release. Dropping that back knee, climbing up on that thigh. You can curl your toes under in the back or keep them flat. Now, just this is more, people won't really see the adjustment you're making here, but you will feel it. Think of pulling your left hip forward to meet your right hip back in space to meet your left. So a slight drawing together to square your hips. You might feel it more, you might even rise a little taller. It's a very subtle gesture, squaring the hips. So then sit, take a deep breath to get tall here. Ooh. And exhale. Inhale, reach your arms out, out, and up like we do when we're standing. Hands come to prayer past your heart. We're going to inhale for length. And exhale, begin to twist to the right side from that lower belly. So it's not just your elbows or your shoulders. The whole lower belly twists. You're going to hook that left elbow to that right knee. If your hands have met one shoulder or the other, press them, counter pressure them right back into the heart center as much as you can. Mine are still uneven. If you'd like to light up the sky, feel free. Gaze can be up towards that back hand or down towards the front hand. Heart is opening. Hands come back to prayer. Untwist. Ooh. Take a moment here. Excellent. Hands can come back to the floor. Plant those palms. Lift that back knee. Bringing the front leg to meet the back, high plank. Knees can drop or knees can stay up. I'm going to shift slightly forward and keeping those elbows tucked, trying to lead with that heart. When you get to the floor, however you do it, untuck those feet, pulling those hands back, low cobra or a little higher cobra. Exhale, release. Tuck those toes. We're going to send those hips back through tabletop right into downward facing dog. Take a breath. And release. Inhale. And release. Now going to extend our left leg. Really think of it going out first, out behind us, and then up. Excellent three-legged dog, by the way. Well done. Exhale, bend that left knee. Begin almost as if you're slow motion launching yourself forward. You can even rock a couple times to get some momentum. Try to set that foot in between your hands. It might take a couple hops. Excellent. High lunge. And drop that knee, the right knee for low lunge. Feel free to tuck your toes or untuck, using your thigh to prop up to get a tall spine. Hands can come to prayer. Feel that drawing together of the hips again. That right hip is coming forward while that left hip is coming back so they square together. Inhale, arms come out and up, mindfully moving through space. Palms come together, maybe bring a little back bend. Exhale, hands come to prayer. So I'm gonna be twisting away from you, so hopefully you can hear me. Inhale to get tall, twisting to the left side from that lower belly, hooking our right elbow towards our left knee, and have a nice twist. Gaze can be up, it can be down towards your foot. You can even open your palms, light up the sky with a very like jazz hands. I've made it kind of position. Excellent. Bringing your hands back to that prayer position. Palms come together. Unwind. Release those hands to the floor. Plant the palms. Tuck the back foot toes, lifting that knee. Getting ready to send that left foot back. So an inhale here. Exhale, send that right foot back, and left foot back. Inhale, high plank. Exhale, hold your high plank. Inhale, extend your right leg just a little off the floor. Exhale, plant it. Inhale, lift your left foot just a couple inches. Exhale, plant. Inhale, shift forward. Knees can drop. Elbows pull in, lowering yourself, chaturanga, as flat as you can. It's about the effort. It's not about what we look like. It's pulling those hands back just a little bit. Low cobra or high cobra. Some of you might go into your upward dog. So when you go off your kneecaps a little, melt back into the floor. This time just move through your tabletop, sending your hips back, child's pose. Take a breath. If you'd like to tent up on your fingertips, some of you have done this before. This adds a little more length and stretch, especially for the shoulder region. Excellent. We're going to roll back into our table. Step those hands forward, or be a better word than step your hands, but whatever. Reach those hands forward a little bit, tucking your toes, lifting at the hips, downward facing dog. I remember my earlier yoga days, they're like, downward dog is a resting pose. And I was like, I don't know if I'll ever get to that point. However, we know where we're going and we know what to expect. So our minds can maybe be at ease. And perhaps one day, downward dog can be a position where our brains aren't just thinking about the intensity of the position, but can think about other things too. Or maybe meditate. Maybe. Take a deep inhale for our last moments. Exhale. We're going to begin to walk our hands towards our feet this time. Keep a nice bend in your feet. Feet should be hips width distance apart. Reach opposite elbows, relax your head, and hang, rock back and forth. We've been here already. See if it feels any different from before. Maybe not. Excellent. So we're going to prepare ourselves for our chair pose, Utkatasana. So keeping a nice bend in your knees, you're going to send your hands behind you, almost like, I imagine like a toddler, like about to like do something, like jump into a bathtub or something. So send your hands back, a nice deep bend in your knees, as if you're trying to sit on a bench that's just like a little too high, and you're like, where is that? You know it's there. And then you're going to bend your knees as you reach those arms past your ankles and extend them in front. They might want to go past your ears. That's just a variation. And breathe. Also known as intense pose, the chair pose is said to be one of these like wonderful positions. However, it might be generating a bit of heat. So inhale, try to get long through that spine. Exhale, try to settle where you are. Maybe you can send your hips back a little more. Take a look at your feet. Can you lift your toes up to make sure you're not about to dive forward into that bathtub? And then gently place those toes down. We're in our last moments. Inhale to get long. Exhale, even in our mind's eye, just sitting back a little further. Last inhale. And exhale, as we straighten up, we begin to fold. And suddenly, the fold is maybe a little more of a restoration position. Option to bend our knees and reach our opposite elbows. That's one variation. You can use your peace fingers, the first 3 fingers, including your thumb, to reach under your big toe. And just give yourself a little stretch, little stretchy poo down the backs of your legs, relaxing that neck. I find chair pose, it's intense for a lot of reasons. I find I like store the tension in my neck, so when I forward fold, I have this like turtleneck. I like can't really relax it. So really giving into this fold, letting it do what gravity does, kind of pulling you towards the center, towards the earth. Take a breath in your own time. Unhook your fingers if they're hooked, or your arms. Bend your knees and take your time. We've been upside down for a while. Roll up one vertebrae at a time. Your arms can come out. Slowly they can come up. Hands can meet above your head and send them down to your heart center. Just take a moment to pause in this variation on Tadasana. Eyes can come closed. Maybe you notice your heart beating. Maybe you notice sensations in your shoulders or your upper legs. Maybe you don't notice anything at all. It's also wonderful. That's the thing, it's just about noticing. You know, it's not about what it is that you notice or what it is you should be feeling. Because in the end, it's just yoga. It's like a big playground for like just people, and like it doesn't have to be for like little kids. All right. Although little kid yoga is entertaining to watch and to teach. So you're gonna shake out those hands, shake out a foot, shake out our other foot. You have if you twisted, if you were facing the other way, come back to facing the front of your mat, but you're standing at the back. And you're just going to reach your left foot forward, boom. Your left foot is going to face the front. Your right foot is going to be on a diagonal. So this is not the widest triangle you can make. I know there's like a term in geometry for like when the 2 sides are longer than the third. You're making that triangle. Excellent. Try to square your hips a little more. You might have to adjust that back foot to facilitate that squaring of the hips. Inhale to get tall. Exhale, halfway fold. So a little half pyramid. Here, if your video is on, you can check yourself and see, oh, my neck is becoming like a weird turtle. I don't know why turtles are being like totally stereotyped in my version. We just don't want that like periscope neck. Inhale, get long through that torso. Can you increase the length? And exhale, light micro bend to your front knee. Fold as much as you can for today. It might be more than you did last week. It might be less than we did last week. If you have blocks or pillows you'd like to rest your hands on to keep that spine long, great. There's different variations you can bring to your hands. You can drop them down, reach them overhead. You can do a little prayer pose behind your neck. You can play around, see if anything works today. Excellent. And bring your hands carefully back to your hips, bend in that front knee, and roll up one vertebrae at a time to our standing. Let that blood kind of resettle, redistribute in our torso. You're gonna point both toes towards the front, arms out, and step your feet as wide as your wrist. If you can't see yourself, I can see myself 2 times over because I have both of my views in, and there's a reflection in the we have these cabinets with glass on them. I have a lot of views of me. So I'm pretty certain that my wrists are about above my ankles, but it's probably a bit wider than your feet are used to. We're gonna turn that left foot back to the front of the mat. Your right foot is gonna stay pointing to the side. Excellent. Here we're gonna keep our arms out, send that hip towards the right side. So now we're like, I feel like we're about to do like sort of disco, which maybe we will, and begin to tilt like you are 2 arms of a clock. We're actually not coming to the floor. If you'd like some support on a block or your leg, take that support. But we're not actually gonna go as far as we can. We're gonna keep our muscles engaged to keep us a little bit afloat, like we're in between 2 worlds, the world of gravity that wants to take us down, and someone reaching for a hand above, saying, no, stay up here. Come on, join us on the earth over here. Heart is open. Bend that front knee slightly, come on back. Good. Send your hands to your hips. We're gonna lunge into that front leg, getting into our warrior 2. You might have to kind of walk your feet out a little more depending on how wide you like your lunge. Keeping that knee over that second toe. If you can't see the second toe anymore, your knee has probably gone beyond your ankle. And watch that the knee doesn't sickle towards the front. Gently keep it pulling a little further back. Inhale, arms reach out, spine is tall, warrior 2. You might even want to close your eyes and just imagine why you are in a warrior position right now. I imagine myself throwing javelins, which is like maybe not the strongest image, but what comes to your mind when you're in this pose? Muscles at the ready. You could spring at any time with your arms, your legs, your gaze. Very nice, we're almost there. Inhale, drop that right arm behind. Reverse that warrior, reaching that left hand over. It's a side stretch down the side of your body, not a back bend. Inhale, come on up. Exhale, forearm to front thigh, like you're painting the ceiling with that right hand, nice and long, opening that heart. Next, inhale, come on up. Take a little lunge and straighten up, well done. Toes point to the front, hands to hips, micro bend in your knees. Inhale, tall, and exhale, halfway forward fold. We've done a few of these now. So inhale, increase your length from the top of your head down your tailbone as if your spine were getting a real stretch. It just woke up in the morning. And exhale, release down as far as you'd like. You can put your hands on the floor, your legs. You can go back and forth, slowly bending one leg or the other. Relaxing the back of the neck, letting it surrender, knowing it's supported by your feet, maybe also by your hands. You're gonna bend your knees and begin to roll up one vertebrae at a time. I kind of like this way of coming up. It's like intense going down and like an unfolding to get back to our posture. Excellent. So now we're going to do the other side. Whew. We're going to turn our right toes forward and get a little bit of a grip here because we're going to bring our back foot forward a smidge. So it's a little bit more, is that an isosceles triangle? Don't quote me on that. So long legs, but a shorter space in between. We're going to have our right foot pointing to the front, our left foot on a diagonal. Squaring those hips, so we're not open to the side, but really open towards those right toes. Inhale, get tall. Exhale, halfway forward fold. Get really mindful with our relationship with gravity, yeah? It's like some of us just want to go forward. It's like, we are in control here. Exhale, release as far as you'd like. Hands can come to your legs for support. Keep a slight bend in that front knee. If you have blocks or pillows, Just kind of want to like use as some support, like use it. I mean, they're there. Hands can come over your head. They can make a prayer over the back of your neck. Excellent. Bringing your hands back to your hips, bend in that front knee, rolling up one vertebrae at a time, keeping our foundational basics to stay healthy, stay good. Excellent. Now we're going to point both toes to the side, reaching your arms up, stepping out as wide as your wrists. It might need to be even a little further. We're going to send our right toes back to the front of our mat, left toes facing the side. Take a moment just to be like, yeah, your front, if you want to take a look at your feet just for some alignment, your front foot should be like bisecting your back. So if you brought them together, it would make the letter T. So rather than like one foot here, one foot there. Inhale, lower the shoulders. Exhale, send the hips to the left side and like you're like 2 arms on a clock. Go down almost like a halfway like we've been going. If you'd like some support, you know where to find it. Your leg, some pillows. You can just come out of the position. Opening your heart. Ooh, I find this side way more intense. Take a couple breaths. Inhale, bending that front knee, carefully bringing yourself back up. Wonderful job. Hands on your hips, give them a little break. We're going to send a lunge into our front knee as we prepare for our warrior 2. Very nice. Keep your torso upright and tall. I almost like to bring my gaze to the front first. So I like know what I'm about to reach for. When your gaze is to the right side, you can open those arms. I've seen people do warrior arms, like just any, like sort of like victorious arms, you know? So if they come up more, however I used to do like little ballet arms, but now I'm like, no, I'm a warrior. So inhale strong here. Exhale, settle. Only here for a few moments. Inhale, notice where your knee placement is. Exhale, settle. Excellent. Inhale, dropping your left hand down the back of your leg or supporting your lower back. Right arm comes, side, stretch in your reverse warrior. Inhale, come back up. Exhale, right forearm comes to thigh. Let's reverse it actually. Bring your left arm down and up and see if that does anything different to open your heart. So the first time I went up and over, this time we went down and over. Remember, the energy is not going down, the energy is always up and out. Inhale, come on back to your warrior. Inhale, I might be saying inhale, inhale, exhale too, please. Inhale to get strong. Exhale, even in your mind's eye, can we sink a little lower? Just even in our mind's eye. Last one here. And sink. Inhale, hands to hips. Come on back to standing. Well done. Oh, toes pointing to the front. We're going to heel toe or just hop your feet back into a hips width distance apart position. I'm going to step back so you can see my hands. We're just going to do a little side stretch. So you're going to reach both hands up. Right hand grasps very gently the left wrist. Get tall first. And then exhale, reaching those arms over to the right side. Your hips can even push in the opposite direction. So arms to the right, hips to the left. Inhale, get tall. Switch your grasp. On your next inhale, get tall. And exhale, sending the hips to the right, arms gently guiding to the left. There is no like max position or minimum position. I always find this quite intense. So if you are not alone. Come on back up. Hands come to prayer. And just shake. Shake it all out. I would like us to move into a little bit of Warrior 3 today, just to give it a little try. So last time we actually tried some half moon, and that's when we're on one foot and it's sort of turned out leg lift. So I'd like to kind of come back to that idea. Warrior 3 is a little bit different. A lot of people take it from a lunge and they kind of spring up, but we're going to do it a little differently in case this is your first Warrior 3, because then you're going to be like, what are you talking about? So just come into our strong Tadasana mountain pose. Take a moment to reset. We're going to first move through tree, which In my experience, people love tree. I love tree. Maybe I'm just projecting. I love tree pose. So you're gonna really ground through that left foot. Begin to lift that right foot. It can be just a little kickstand, a little turned out kickstand. You can bring it to your calf. Just don't rest it on your knee. You can rest really anywhere on your leg but your knee, because we don't want to do that. Balance. And you're going to press your left hip towards that foot. So your foot's not kicking your hip out of alignment. And your hands can come wherever they want. Prayer, they can be open. You can give it some branches. I've been playing a lot around with lowering my gaze. As soon as I close my eyes, I'm done for. Maybe if I lower my gaze, turn a little more inward. So I'm not going to be here for too long because we have to put a lot of time on the left leg. Hands are going to come back down to the middle and then to our hips. Give your standing leg a little bend. It's not locked out. You're going to turn that leg wherever it is. It might be down here, it might be up here. Turn it in and disconnect it from your knee. Just hang out balancing here. And leading with that right heel, you're going to send that foot back into space. Woo. That's right. And if you have your leg back, begin to bow slightly towards the earth with your torso. Until I'm focused because I'm not like super chattery. Woo. We're going to come back up slowly, bend that right knee, send it right back where it was. And come down. Woo, shake it out. So what I was saying before, some people like to go from a lunge position. I've been in class where they're like, lunge, warrior three. And I'm like, what? And all of a sudden people are just like, spring. I'm like, I have no idea how to prepare for that. So it's nice to like break it down and be like, oh, this is what I'm trying to like develop. You know, I was like, why am I falling? And it's like, I have no idea what my foundation is even supposed to be. Am I turning out my leg? Is it low? Is it high? Is it bent? You know, and then you do that thing where you look at everyone else in the room and you're just like mortified. Maybe that's my thing. Hopefully that's just my thing. So let's try on the other side. And I like actually going from tree or other positions because yoga doesn't have to be one specific sequence. All right, we're gonna ground through our right foot. Bring our left leg up into our tree of choice, anywhere on your leg except that knee. Using the opposite hip, that right hip, to press back into that foot, and find your branches for today. We all know trees sway, right? You find yourself swaying or coming down. They also regrow and regenerate all the time, just like us. Excellent. Wherever your hands are, they're going to come back past your center, come onto your hips. You turn that left knee to be parallel, flexing that foot and leading with that heel like you're going to slow motion kick the door down behind you. A slight micro bend in your standing leg. Send that left foot back and maybe your torso comes down. Maybe you want to let go of those hands and send them back. Maybe airplane arms. Or maybe they even reach past your ears. Mindfully, wherever you are, bringing that knee right back to its starting point. And mindfully lowering it down. Woo, shake it out. Well done. Well done, everybody. Just checking the time because I could literally do this forever. My dance classes, they're always like, Miss Catherine, you spent the entire class on like bar and talking. No. Yes. All right, so shake it out. All right, let's see. We're gonna move into just a little bit more, but we're almost to our relaxing position. So you're gonna come right back to the top, middle to the top of your mat. Bend your knees. Let's reset with our flow. Reach those arms up. Hands come to the top. Maybe give yourself a little back bend. Exhale, swan dive, leading with your heart. Forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Last halfway lift of the day. Exhale, release, moving slowly. Inhale, plant those hands. Step your right leg back. Step your left leg back, high plank. Inhale, dropping those hips ever so slightly to the right, and come up before you hit the ground. Exhale. Inhale to the left. Exhale, send them back up. Three more. 1, 2 more. Last one. You can always drop your knees too. Make sure that sounds about right. And then send your heart energy forward. Final chaturanga. Untuck those toes. Peel up and relax. Forehead comes to your mat, or you can put one ear on the mat. That might be more comfortable. Hands can drape down your side. We're going to move into a bow pose. Not like a bow, like a bow and arrow. For some people, this might be a position that is not comfortable. There are a lot of variations we can do in class where with the support of a teacher, they can actually help support your body so the position feels less tight. However, we're over Zoom, so if you know that this position's not in your repertoire, pick one that is. Pick one that you love so much and just do the heck out of that one. Switch your ear to the other side. All right, for those of you who'd like to try our bow pose, you're gonna open your legs just a little bit. You're gonna bring your right leg up, flex your foot. Bring your left leg up, flex your foot. You're gonna try your best to reach your ankles of either foot. And that's right, and then with extending your legs, your shoulders are gonna lift. So we're just playing around right now. If you're having a hard time reaching your ankles, you can point your feet and reach the tops of your feet. It just depends on how you're feeling today. Both of them have different properties and different benefits. If you'd like to just move into some cobra or a sphinx pose, and you can bend one knee and then the other. That actually I'm feeling pretty intense in my thigh. This is a nice modification. You can try both. Those of you trying bow pose, find the version that works best for you, either reaching the ankles with flex feet or reaching the top of your feet with your pointed feet. So I feel like I'm setting this up kind of funny. You want to reach your hand as such. So your knuckles are facing outside. Before I turned them in, and that was incorrect. Knuckles are on the outside of your feet. So let's rest your head on the ground. Take a resetting inhale. And exhale, peel your forehead, your shoulders, maybe even your knees off the ground. Take a breath here. We're gonna hold for 3,